Welcome, everybody, to the collective call today. Our featured guest is Snax, co-founder of PizzaDAO. We have a little bit of housekeeping to get through first, and we'll just run through that quickly and jump into the learning about PizzaDAO. This collective call today. New website is up. This is one of our announcements. I don't know if everybody has seen that yet, but we're still working on filling out some of the pages, bringing over some of the history, and making sure that we just have a good functional site. The DIA group has had its second meeting well, it's 10 days ago now, I guess. And the membership has been growing with that. We've got about 50 and another 4 or 6 to add to the logo wall here. So there's a lot of activity going on. We've got a lot of subgroups going in there. We got community building, data ownership, legal matters. We just got out of a data ownership meeting that was just held. So if you're interested in these areas, you can ask to join some of these subgroups. We have work being done on Monday, an agent that we're using or building to use for community development. We're hoping to have the prototype done shortly to be able to have a lot of people take a look and review that. We have some new chapters, Baltimore, Dublin, Austin, Porto, Charleston, and those are all new chapters that are starting up or have started up recently. Um, this was something Lou put in about the D-pin reshaping the real world. I believe that there was a good Crypto Mondays that took place then. And if we want to jump into our featured guest presentation, Snax, I can hand it over to you and you can have the floor. Do you have
Sure.
any presentation itself?
Yeah. So
Okay,
hello everybody. I
I'll
got
start.
camera and I can show, I think I have a few different things I can go through. I'm gonna give everyone, so I think there are varying degrees of familiarity with PizzaDAO in the room. So I'm maybe gonna give a, well, show of hands. We got 16 people here. Maybe just drop a message in the chat, like, yes, I know what PizzaDAO is, or no, or maybe what you think PizzaDAO is, because we find that, a lot of people approach something like PizzaDAO and they have their own reason for wanting to be part of PizzaDAO, and it just means whatever that is to them, which is also great. We love to learn what PizzaDAO means to people, but uh, fundamentally, I'll say we are a global pizza co-op. We do a global pizza party every year on Bitcoin Pizza Day. And where this last year we actually did it in 200 cities, so about 15,000 people came. And historically, in 2023, it was a Monday. So we worked with a lot of Crypto Mondays chapters all over the world because they were already having meetups on Monday, May 22nd. Uh, and so I'm gonna give, we have this presentation that is just about just the very basics. I think most of you probably know this stuff, but it's just, some fun background. You might learn something, maybe some of you won't. So, Bitcoin, right? January 2009, very cheap. Laszlo wanted pizza in 2010. No one had really bought anything with Bitcoin. He posted on Bitcoin Talk. He a rambling message saying he wants two pizzas and he's not very particular about toppings. Takes him 3 days. This guy ends up buying him the pizza, Jeremy Sturdivant. He calls in the order, he accepts the Bitcoin. History is made, and it's a legend. It's Bitcoin Pizza Day. We all know this. And then we start in 2021. We start on Clubhouse, actually. If anybody remembers Clubhouse in the middle of the pandemic. And we got 314 NFT artists to do toppings for our NFT pizzas, which they are ridiculous. They look really silly. There are 314 different art styles. But this raised our initial treasury. And we've gone on to throw 4 global pizza parties. And then this is going to be our fifth this year, and we're looking at 400 cities. So this was 2024. Yeah, 200 some cities across 80 countries, 15,000 people. And this is other stuff about, yeah, why would you join Pizza? We still have our NFTs available if you want to ever propose or like have us buy pizza for your meetup or vote on whether we buy pizza for other people's meetups. And this is kind of why we think people join PizzaDAO. I think we're really kindred organizations. I think Crypto Mondays and PizzaDAO, I think we have a ton of overlap. I think we're both really about similar stuff in education. We're just a little more pizza focused. So I'm going to switch gears now. I have another presentation that I think is interesting, and I also want to give a crash course through PizzaDAO's infrastructure. So we kind of have like a Google Docs infrastructure now that we've been building all of our internal ops around. So we have this site, it's called crew.pizzadao.xyz, and it inventories all of our subgroups. I was interested at the beginning, I saw you have Crypto Mondays subgroups, which is super cool. And this is how we've been approaching it. So, for instance, if we go into art, they have a song that they play during their call. They have the crew members. And then we have all our tasks that we're working on. We're getting artists for our flyers. We're putting together art for our galleries. We're recruiting. We're finishing up our global pizza party flyer. There's another really important one. Yes, global pizza. I should just move this up. We've been updating our sheets. This one's really important. We're contacting all the best crypto artists to do art for the Global Pizza Day gallery. So going back, and then we have everybody in PizzaDAO is actually on here. And the first thing you do when you join PizzaDAO is that we ask you, what's your favorite pizza topping and what's your favorite mafia movie? And that's how we have folks like Mushroom Escobar, Chorizo Corleone, Oscar Frog, etc. in our crew sheet. Everybody gets a number, and we use this to look them up across all the crews. And this is all open, and we use subdomains a lot. So like besides crew, like another one, we keep all our events in events.pizza.xyz, and you can even see our budgets, believe it or not, if you click on the events themselves. If you're wondering what it costs to produce a conference event, we are fully transparent about this. So here's an example. We look at Pizza Castle. We raised $40,000 and we spent a little more than that. And these were our expenses. It's 23,000 for the sports castle is expensive, but at least we got $9,000 of drink tickets. So let's keep on going. If you mess up and you do the wrong subdomain, like we could do, I don't know, monday.pizzadao.xyz, we have it set so it just gives you all of our links. So if you're ever curious, like if you're looking for something within PizzaDAO, this is how we make sure our members can find it. And just a quick intro to how we actually do governance in PizzaDAO. So we have an NFT, as I was saying, and the NFT gets you access to a Discord, or actually it gets you access to put votes in our Discord on our proposals channel. So this is kind of what our governance looks like. You just, you vote with an emoji. So these have ended, or I would have a little option to vote. And you can see they are limited to, well, we limit them just to people who hold the NFT, which we do with Collabland, which is like a token gating tool for Discord and Telegram. And right now we're in our hiring period. So you can see we're hiring the Global Pizza Party Merchant Shipping Europe Coordinator and the Junior Designer. I think this one failed though. Here is a Bucharest party that we ultimately didn't fund because I think it was too soon. Right now, we're really saving up for Pizza Day. We are going to spend a lot. So anyway, this is our governance. This is how we do it. It is so easy to set up governance on Discord with some simple token gating tools. I'm going to switch back to the other screen here. Actually, let me take a breather. And yeah, I want to, yeah, just take questions. I also want to introduce Young Scrimmages here with me from PizzaDAO. I think Ivan, you spent time in PizzaDAO too. So if you want to jump in and answer any questions, also Young Scrimmage, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I am Young Scrimmage, aka Don Scrimmage on Pizza PizzaDAO. I'm the current governance steward and quote unquote capo regime. So I do a lot of stuff in the Discord and I help out with the cities as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for saying that. So one other thing that I should let everyone know is that the way we organize our global pizza party surprise is also with spreadsheets. And we have a one big spreadsheet, cities.pizzadao.xyz, that has every city chapter in PizzaDAO with a Telegram chat link. And this is where we track where they are in their planning process. So you can, wherever you live, you can look up your city here. You might already be in the Telegram and you can see where we're at. So yeah, let's take a second. I just kind of did a lot of information. Any questions, comments, thoughts? And then I can dive back in. I have a whole presentation on like how to do community and how we approach it within Pizza Now that I think is interesting, but I'm also open to just hear where the group is at.
Yeah, I'll jump in with some questions. I'm wondering how you find using these types of tools for the management, how much of a challenge it is using something like Discord to do your votes and to track things. I mean, are you finding it's a good tool and set for what your needs are, or do you are you wanting for other types of more structured tools?
So at this point, the qualities that made us take up this Discord solution are we wanted anonymous voting. We wanted it to be one vote per person, which we kind of approximate with one vote per Discord account. Uh, and we wanted it to be token gated, right? So that,
Right.
it's believe it or not, our Discord voting bot solution is basically the only way to do it. That's pretty easy to set up today because a lot of the other solutions like Snapshot or are well, it's public, but it's pseudonymous, so you would have to really send your token to an address that no one knew was yours, which most of our users are just not going to do. So that partially is a big reason we use it. Could it be better? Yes, absolutely. Um, it is currently pretty functional for us, and I think it is potentially one of the easiest ways to set up a DAO, make a multi-sig, have a token, have voting in a Discord channel. I think it is really quite easy if you just know how to do it.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I wasn't
yeah,
wasn't necessarily looking for better. I was looking for does it function the way that you need it to? Is it a tool that works for what you're trying to accomplish? And if it does, that's great. It has seemed to me that there are other solutions out there, and I'm looking at some of these, so I'm really looking for your feedback to see if simplicity is even better way to go.
because our community is in Discord and our community calls are in Discord and we make our decisions and like talk in Discord, it's convenient. It's right around the bend. You just have to click on that channel right there, and then you have to click an emoji and you voted. So it is pretty. And now I'm not going to boast that we're turning out crazy voter participation numbers. Like if you look at this one, so the junior designer got 28 votes, which is pretty good for us, if I'm being honest. So, our highest quorum that we're going to hit is usually about 35. That's like for the biggest decisions within the DAO, we say 35 people have to, we have to hit quorum of 35. If we're going to do basically like 35 people have to say yes. And we have I don't know, maybe Scrimmy has a better idea than I do. I think it's like maybe we have 50 people who are voting. I could tell you how many people are signed up as a quote unquote super voter, which is like the tag that we abuse. Because the thing with Discord that you may know, everyone, is that if you're getting pinged from Discord, it gets pretty annoying pretty fast.
Mhm.
And you have to, as an admin, as a server, or as a community manager, if you have any kind of tagging privileges within a Discord, you have to be very careful with how you deploy those because people will turn off the notifications and you won't ever see them again. So we so we try and we have a lot of ways we try and mitigate that problem with
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah, it's a challenge no matter what platform you're on to try to organize all this stuff. I mean, the fact that you've got all of that working the way that you need it to is impressive.
And look, it's taken us a lot of time. You know, Scrimmy is our proposal source, so he made this screen. You want to talk about it? I'll share the screen, but we made this proposal guide now. And you could speak on how this changed your process as a governance steward after you made this.
Yeah, definitely. So we made this proposal guide. So initially it was kind of difficult because I was very hands-on with having to do all of the proposals. And we really wanted to find a way to decentralize the system of which people will submit proposals. So the only solution that I thought was possible was making a standalone site that kind of guided you through the entire process. And that's how the proposal guide kind of became a thing. So now, effectively, anybody who has a box or pizza NFT can come in and submit their proposals, make it from top to bottom, and they can now even get feedback as well on the proposal before submitting it to with our new system as well. So it's been life changing for our governance system. It's been very cool to empower people that are our token holders to be able to submit proposals. Yeah, it's just been a really great change overall.
Great, thanks.
And how that works is basically, you know, you copy this and you paste it into this description field. So it's a little clunky, but I mean, what percent of people now are submitting their own proposals, would you say? Because yeah, Scrimmy? I mean, I think because it went from a very only a handful of the DAO members. Scrimmy, you're muted whenever you want to chime in, but only a handful of the DAO members could actually like navigate the process. To now we're getting proposals, self-serve proposals all the time.
Engagement is a big part of the game.
Yes. So maybe that's a good segue to just talk about how we think about building community at PizzaDAO. Um, so I mean, a little background, personal background. I learned community, I think, on Facebook and on like early internet stuff. I also was an early Bitcoin organizer, like back in 2013, 14. I was organizing meetups here in Philly, which ultimately led me down the NFT rabbit hole through people that I met there, and then to Clubhouse, where I ultimately made a lot of friends who were really interested in this stuff, and then together we launched this thing, uh, and here we are years later. So you probably know this as Crypto Mondays members, but Web3 is community first. It's kind of a very different model than old business, where today you don't need a product, you just need a brand and maybe some sort of a token to capture it. And you can build a huge community and then launch products maybe within it or on top of it, or just get all of the benefits that you get from having a network of cool aligned people. And just basic questions that we think about, you know, what brings people to PizzaDAO? What do they get from it? And then like how does who we have change the future? And that's just, you know, whatever you have, this is pretty good rule for community. It's good for lots, it makes sense for lots of things. Like if you I personally wear a lot of fishing vests, so people give me fishing vests as presents sometimes. This is true about community too. And and uh, and it's important to remember that your community is who's going to recruit for you. And then we, as you know, with our pizza names, with all these fun things we do within the DAO, we think it's really important to just kind of play around and be silly. And when, like, especially when the first thing you do in Pizza DAO is you get a new name, where I'm Enzo Pepperoni within our Discord, um, which is a Snow Crash reference. If anybody knows the book Snow Crash, that's the foundational text. It coined the term metaverse, and so in Pizza DAO we kind of incorporate some of that into our lore because there's a main character that named Uncle Enzo who's the head of the pizza mafia, which is like a future. Basically the mafia is very powerful in the future in Snow Crash, and they run a chain of pizzerias. Uh, so what you reminded me of, Alan, was what are the actual community channels that like people get information and read it. Reading ever harder, like every day, less people will read anything. I think we don't do a newsletter. Does Crypto Mondays do a newsletter, like an email?
Lou puts one out, so he's got quite a following um, on different platforms.
So I still think email is great. We actually don't run one yet, which is partially funny story due to adopting a Web3 events platform that didn't let us have a checkbox to avoid the Canned Spam Act, which says you can't actually email people who attend your events unless they check a box. Uh, so, but I do really think email is still the best signal strength means of communication for us. It's really X that is our highest signal strength when we're announcing events and doing global pizza party coordination communication. And then it's really our Discord for the core community. How does everyone show that they're a Crypto Mondays member out in public? Do you have like merch? Does anyone have a Crypto Mondays piece of merch that you wear? Because this is something we also think about. Like how can you let people know out in the world that you're part of a community, so they can talk to you about it?
Yeah, we don't have a store at the moment with any merch in it. That was something I think that we had a while ago, maybe before I joined the organization, but it is likely that's something we need to look into again, is having that out there.
I think a simple enamel pin is a pretty cost effective and quality, easy to wear thing. We were brainstorming this a lot lately, and we really just think that's our best thing is the enamel pin. Okay, here, I got one right here. So, just a simple. I'm obviously a pin guy though, so I might be biased. Uh, the other thing we've learned over time, especially when talking to pizzerias, is just to meet them where they are, talk to them about what they know, build trust around core things. I mean, part of the whole theory with throwing pizza parties that are very pizza first, we're very global pizza party first, and Bitcoin is under the hood, and that's by design. That's because it's just much more approachable and easy. And then when you hear, oh, why are we having a pizza party? Oh, because this guy spent 10,000 Bitcoin on two pizzas. That's a funny story. Uh, that is a very different intro than when we started and we would call pizzerias and we would say, oh, look, it's Bitcoin Pizza Day. We want to throw this party. And they would just be like, do you want pizza or not? Like, what, what's your deal? Uh, but we basically take this underlying crypto community that is all over the world. We all have this unique reason to celebrate, and then we make a very approachable uh, package around that. A lot of people, even to our conference events, they're bringing their friends and family who are maybe crypto curious, who they know will have a good time because it's a pizza party. It's pretty simple. Yeah, and again, just like I remember in the early days of PizzaDAO, whenever anyone hit the Discord, and Scrimmy knows how how we try and do this. We as soon as someone hits the Discord and says something, being there and saying welcome, asking them what their favorite pizza topping is, so crucial. And then those first few interactions with someone over, that hour and then that week are so important in terms of whether or not they ultimately build a relationship with the community, figure out where they fit and how they want to be a part of things. Um, yeah, and we actually could even do better. I could take my own advice here and do better at celebrating members who are doing great recruiting, because we're, especially for us, when we're trying to go from 200 cities to 400 cities, from 2024 to 2025, recruiting is really important, especially getting people who we know are going to throw good parties and who have good networks of friends in those regions who are our local blockchain builders. And this is kind of like how someone maybe makes their way through PizzaDAO. Um, Scrimmy, yeah, what was your first contact with PizzaDAO? How did you go through? Because Scrimmy is now, I would say, at number 6, so he has gone all the way through the community. Um,
Yeah, great question. So first I started in a different Discord, which was a Strawberries Discord. And I worked for him for a little while, and then I found PizzaDAO through him and Katrina, who are very early PizzaDAO members. I found out they worked for PizzaDAO and they were a big contributors, and I kind of went backwards that way and joined PizzaDAO. From there, Snax onboarded me in our early days at a place called Gather Town, which is like a virtual kind of meetup spot. That was kind of fun. So I got the name Don Screaming John there, and then during the community call as well when I first appeared, and it's been just smooth sailing ever since. Just been contributing to the best I can since then. But I will say that the initial contact was huge for me, and I felt very welcomed by everybody. So that was great.
this is actually Gather Town. We don't really use this anymore, but it apparently still works. It's like a meeting space where when you go near someone, it puts you in an audio, in a chat, video and audio. So like if you sit at this counter, you can see these 10 people could be in a conversation with me in these 10 spots around me. And then we have a layer underneath the Ninja Turtles and some pianos and stuff. But yeah, a fun app actually, Gather Town. Anyway, okay, back to where were we? Yeah, and then I guess how did you start? You were joining the community calls. What was the first working group? Yeah, because we were not as sophisticated then. Now we actually have all these crews, and what's really important about our crews is that they meet weekly. So when someone hits the DAO and they want to be a part, and we find out what they're good at, which this is actually another funny thing for me to show. So the way we sort our participants, we just draw on the Ninja Turtles lore, and we ask them what kind of turtle they are. So Leonardo is community or a leader. Raphael is biz dev. Michelangelo's art. Donatello is tech. April's PR, and Splinter's accounting and legal. Like they kind of make sense with their personalities. And when you're in our Discord, you actually get this flair. So like people could click on you and say, "Oh, I know what this person's skill sets are."
Yeah. For me, when I initially came in, I didn't have very many skills that I do have today, because of PizzaDAO, really. But in the beginning, I was just a note taker for the most part. So I'd come in during the community calls and take the weekly notes or the meeting minutes, and I would put on a Google Doc at the time. Now we put it into our crew channels, and the call notes section on the Discord. But yeah, early on, I was the guy to just, if there was something that needed to be done, whether it was like taking notes or attending a call or trying to help host a call, that's what I was doing in the early days. So yeah, I've learned a lot since then, and yeah, it's been great.
And those
Uh,
community call. Oh, go.
I was just gonna say, it's a clever way of doing it by identifying the types and applying those to the profiles themselves.
And we do it out around the turtles, so it keeps it fun. It keeps it, and it kind of makes sense. So, the turtles know what makes a good team, I guess. That's what we always joke. But the community call, I think it is the center. It is like this call for Crypto Mondays, I think is probably like an important sort of heartbeat for the organization, right? In some ways, or every organization has that part of it, and for us, it's the community call on Sundays at 1 o'clock. But having the crews meet weekly, there's no substitute for it, I find, because if we want to be a DAO, if we want to be a permeable organization, right, where people can just kind of flow in and contribute immediately and get some positive feedback, it's so important to say, oh, there's a call less than 7 days away. If you say, oh yeah, come back in 2 weeks, like the drop off is much higher.
Yeah, it is a challenge for any organization to help build the membership itself, especially in a decentralized world. And yeah,
100%.
we've got people working on it full time.
And then within PizzaDAO, especially we focus on it's important to have unstructured time, right? It's good to have calls where we're really programmed and we have a lot of stuff to get through and it's like information gathering and sharing, but it's also important to have social situations. So we have events, now these days we have after our community call for an hour, we go in the back room and it's NFT gated. So it's more of like a private conversation and it's much more informal. It's much more social. So we really get to know each other. Right? And that is super important. Like when members of PizzaDAO know each other and know communication styles. I mean, for any organization trying to get stuff done, communication is the hardest part. So having strong bonds between the members of our community where they know each other's styles and is so important to just being able to do anything, especially try to throw a pizza party in 400 cities on the same day.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah, and then we're lucky, right, that we have that yearly thing that can pull everyone together, and it's a simple mission.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, these are just some of the spaces that I think of them. I should have a better word for this than synchronous and asynchronous, like a shorter word. I think but like just, places where people can talk and be present, and then also places where they can, if they want to post anything, like, and just have it be up, chat, like more like a chat room vibe, Twitter, Discord, forums, I think are really important. And then kind of like, oh yeah. Oh, kind of like
No,
our
I'm just agreeing.
partnership. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like our partnership with Crypto Mondays. I think community overlap is always positive. There are just so many ways to build with other communities, and the more connections you have between the communities, the more things can spring up unexpected opportunities.
Yeah.
And
So
where
do you
pizza
have
is so
some,
easy.
what are the major events you have coming up? Is that the one that you were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about?
So we have a few smaller events. We'll be part of an event during NFTLA. We're working on an event for a token Dubai. We're trying to decide if we have the bandwidth to do this one because it's really all hands on deck for the Global Pizza Party on May 22nd. We have a party happening during FarCon in New York on May 1st. So that'll be a big one. And then it's possible we do Cinco de Mayo in Mexico, but mostly all hands on deck, Global Pizza Party 25. And then if we come up for air in time, and if everything's going well, it's possible we do Vegas. Definitely we'll be back for June to do NFT NYC though in late June. And then ECC we'll be on a yacht at ECC actually that our friends have and I guess the rest of the year we'll see. I'm sure we'll be at a number of these other events. So we're
All
doing
right.
about 2 to 4 a month. And I guess I could talk about that a little. The way we've been working on that, So the product market fit that I would say PizzaDAO has right now is basically an event producing organization, and we only produce pizza parties, and we sort of have a package and a franchised model, almost you would say, that we offer to event organizers around the world, and we give them a lot of support. So as we have learned how to structure our offerings, we've just gotten better at this, and we've figured out like, so now we pay our organizers $500, plus we give them a percentage of any profit that is made on the event. We'll usually split it, which there are some incentives there that might not work that we're thinking about, but always in development. And then we've also, in order to scale, because we have to raise a lot of funds in order to throw a global pizza party right in 400 cities, it's going to cost us potentially $400,000. So to do that, we now have a 12.5% commission that we pay members who pursue relationships with big brands, and we have these we have documents that just are open that anyone can go out and use and even fork and change. And we just made a big update to this one actually today. And this is just menu.pizzadao.xyz. These things are all we put them all public. So we find people are even using our example and like making their own fundraising documents for their own organizations, and we highly encourage that. Like likewise, if you could ever use an event budget template, we would love for you to use ours. We have them all open on events.pizzadao, or even if you go straight to
So the
budget.
funding comes from sponsorships.
Yes. So our funding for the events is all sponsors at this point. We have our own treasury, and we generally spend that on outgoing proposals where like grassroots events ask us to buy pizza for their events. And our goal is break even on all of our activations, maybe even turn a tiny bit of profit until our community is big enough that we can start acquiring land together.
Pizza land.
Pizza land, yeah, specifically land to rent to pizzerias, so there are pretty much three ingredients that we need for that. We need a strong local community that trusts our organization and would contribute funds together to buy land. We need a relationship with the local pizzeria that has a business model we trust, who wants to expand, usually less likely that they're going to relocate. We're finding that it's mostly if they want to open a second or third pizzeria is the best model. And then we need the local legal and regulatory compliant rails to do it. So we're talking to a lot of people in a lot of places because there are different companies pursuing this in every jurisdiction. And we see this sort of as like a biz dev opportunity for them, where they can help us make it happen really easy, maybe waive some of their, and we find some of them want to charge 6%, and you can't charge 6% on a real estate deal. So we are very much pursuing a lot of avenues there and looking to make that happen either this year or early next.
Yeah, I was not aware of that aspect of the PizzaDAO at all. Didn't know that's where you were headed.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so the idea is that we want to bring pizza on chain, and that's going to ultimately we want to tokenize the businesses too. We want to get the point of sale and the payroll and all aspects of the business on chain because it's just going to be more efficient and it's going to make it easier to tokenize the business. The reason we're going with the land first is because tokenizing a business is a lot more complex from all angles, both legally but also just practically. Because especially for a small business, if the proprietor of the business walks away and the business isn't properly documented in ways that someone else could come in and operate the business, then you may just end up owning nothing. So we don't want to put ourselves in that situation. I think there are a lot of things we have to learn before we're ready. So the way we do that is we build relationships with pizzerias. We go into business buying real estate together. I think we'll probably learn quite a bit about operating along the way.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like we're getting some questions. Charles was asking.
Let me pull
from
up the
Lance.
chat.
Yeah. Maybe you can run through some of those. Charles is
Oh, I
asking
think
on the land side, have you done any pop-up locations?
not yet. We have thought about it. We have so the closest I guess we've done is that we've done a PizzaDAO catering concept, which is kind of a hilarious idea that anyone would hire you just to set up the pizza at their event.
Serve
But
pizza.
I know, but it actually, we're pretty good at it. And there is some demand, it turns out. So that's one thing. And where we get the pizza from all the what's cool is that we'll get the best pizza from the best places. We'll order the right slices and do all the little things. Uh, we have a bunch of friends who are good at doing that kind of pop-up stuff. So maybe like we've talked about doing it for South by before. We've talked about doing one in New York. Uh, every year we go to Pizza Expo. I'm actually missing it this year, but we go to Pizza Expo and we pitch the major ingredients brands. Well, our ultimate goal there is to get, the salt like Roma tomato and grande cheese and like Caputo flour or somebody to put in for us to do a consumer facing pop-up where we get, a famous pizzaiolo and we use their ingredients and we make it a whole thing. But
Hmm,
so we thought about it, but not yet.
Okay.
And
Yeah, if anybody else has other questions.
I have quite a few questions. This has been really amazing. Thanks so much for sharing because, well, particularly Alan and I, we're wrestling with this centralized, decentralized organization, Crypto Mondays, and so it's been really interesting to see into the way that you're operating and the way that you've shared it so transparently. So how do you work out what to centralize and what not to centralize? How do you, because sometimes maybe you tend not to consult as widely as you should because you're trying to push, trying to get something done. And on the other hand, you actually need to be inclusive in terms of involving the community in decisions and things like that. So, and then in terms of functions, how do you decide what functions are going to be centralized and what are not?
okay, so one thing that I am personally incredibly protective of is our Twitter. Um, like I never want to give anyone the keys because I want it to be perfect. Like when we put out the tweets, and I've relaxed on over time, and now more people do have access to the Twitter, and we do have some others putting. But I think voice like the top level brand stuff, it just has to be really tight from a comms perspective, and you can't just give the whole community the keys. We've tried it, and it's a mess. Um, it's like so I think messaging has to be tight and it's important to keep it really, yeah. You only want a couple people who are always going to do it. They're not going to have typos. They're going to get all the information out. They're going to put spacing between their phrases. They're going to make stuff readable. Or like, the newsletter, right? Like I'm sure Lou has a system and like you need to be I was in the newsletter business once. I was sending wine mailers and you have to be really, really careful when you're sending stuff like that. It takes a lot of attention to detail. So that's one thing. Um, Other stuff, I mean, financially, right? It's hard, like that you need a certain level of trust. I mean, so we're gradually decentralizing that. I mean, we have a multi-sig, right? And it's 4 of 7, and we elected those members, and they're trusted members of DAO, and we enact the proposals. Then how we actually send the payments out, we have a payments team, which is a smaller multi-sig, and it's actually a 2 of 4, and so we'll send money to that, and then that is the one where we stage the outbound transaction, and like it's a higher kind of throughput. And we actually use ENS, which is pretty cool. So we have like payments.pizzadao.eth, and we keep our treasury. So that's another thing. Like what are the important things, right? You need to let everyone know about the money. And so everyone can see the money. That's pretty important, right? So like the money lives in a known set of addresses. And if you go to treasury.pizza.now, it sends you to this Zapper bundle. And, you know, oh man, I wish ETH would go up, but we have 112K left. And we've spent over $1 million on pizza. So if you ask me, we're doing okay. And but yeah, so this is one thing, you know, or like access to our bank account, right? We have a Mercury account, and that's and we have a Kraken account, and like those things, yeah, they kind of have like we have an LLC, and who's on the LLC? I mean, it's 3 people that are on the LLC because that's what an LLC. That was the easy one for us to do, and we had all of this extra structure that we paid a lawyer to develop around like I guess indemnifying members of the DAO if they came on as advisors in some context. But did we actually deploy that? Like honestly, no. We probably could have just made a 3-member LLC and just use the bank account without paying a lawyer a bunch of money to try and roll something new. Like now I think that there are better options. You know, this was 2021 and we were just desperate not to have the tax liability fall on any individual you know, when we started taking in funds. So we kind of spun up the LLC and made the multi-sig. But yeah, today honestly still might be the way is just have some look if you need a bank account for your org and you need one less and less is the other cool thing because stablecoins work. I mean, it's just it you know, it depends a little bit like we have community members that yeah have really high trust with us and they're willing to just pay with their credit card and then they get reimbursed in stablecoins, and that is a dream. It's so easy for us. But if you really do need to, like Mercury is great, it lets you issue debit cards to your members and you can put limits on them and you can track their spending really easily. And we love that. You know, for Pizza Day, it's a tremendous tool. Like for you know, I think ultimately some of these crypto debit cards might offer similarly convenient solutions where, you know, like crypto, imagine if Crypto Mondays could just put like 100 bucks in 50 Crypto Mondays branded like little hardware wallet thingies, and boom, you know, you go out and they're like credit cards and you just go out and spend them. I think that day is here. We see a lot of like there are a lot of card companies. We're talking to some of them about sponsoring Pizza Day, you know, who are starting to do this. So, but yeah,
Right.
so
Thank you.
okay, so centralization, yeah, financially, right? If you need traditional banking, like what are you gonna do? Like you could try and make a Duna and do all the crazy shit, but I would say for like a smaller community-based type of an organization, like it just doesn't, it's not worth it. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Thank you. I'll give Julie a chance because
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just filibustering over here. Hey Julie.
I think maybe I'd like to chat to you when you've done your, you know, this round of Pizza DAO, then maybe we have a one-on-one, you know, Alan and you and me, just to learn a few things from you. Thank you.
Julie?
Hi, Snax. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, team here. I dropped your sticker at that Miami event that we were at. I would like a new Snax sticker, please. That's a question and a demand, it sounded like from the tone of my voice. It did not, I didn't mean to make it sound demanding. Will you please walk us through as a potential new 401 locations for Crypto Mondays Hamptons for our pop-up in the summer? We want to kick off with this with our May 22nd pizza party. How can you walk us through what that process is for someone like me that's aware of some things but needs a lot of hand-holding? Is it simple?
Okay, so this is great because we just updated this manual. So this is the latest and greatest pizza party planning handbook. So here we go. You know this stuff. If you need help, you can reach out to your underboss. Your underboss is going to be, oh, you know what? Look at this. Not very good, PizzaDAO. Gotta get this in there. So we're going to update this, and then you'll be able to get in touch with your underboss. Like I said, very new. But yeah, this is where we'll put the Telegram username of the underboss and then link to it. So there you go. Sardines is your guy. And yeah, we have the mini documentary that Collabland so nicely made for us. Okay, basic details will reimburse you for up to $625 of pizza. If you don't know about Bitcoin Pizza Day, there's that presentation that I gave you earlier about Laszlo. This is the basic process. I think easy peasy might be too. We've been trying to sanitize our language because there are so many English as a second language speakers, like within, because we're this global org. So something like easy peasy is something we've been considering changing to like basic or easy or steps. I don't know. We're really trying to make everything so. Sometimes we get a little too full of ourselves and our lore and our internal jargon, and we forget that the audience knows nothing about what they're reading. I mean, no offense, Julie. All right, next.
None taken. By the way, is this link in our chat that's on the right-hand side if we pop it open, or can you drop it in there if I missed it?
I'll drop that one in there too. And soon I'm gonna be, once we feel like this is good enough, we're gonna be migrating to host.pizzadao.xyz, which honestly currently is just way too long. It is a mess. It is like 30 slides of pizza party instructions that if you really want the full detail, you can go for this one, but this one is closer to 12. So let's stick with that. All right, so your deadlines, you're a little behind, but we'll catch you up. You need to submit your kit request form, although that's actually our bad. But the major thing for you to do is get your co-host, like in you already did this. Actually, you're already basically here probably.
Yep.
Sounds like you have your venue. Yeah. Okay. So we have like some guides on how you build your team, but you did that. But if anyone's thinking about, this is what we tell people to do, just find your local Crypto Mondays chapter is basically what we say. And anybody else who does events. And then create your budget sheet. We have that city spreadsheet, so like for the Hamptons, right? So we would do. So first I have to go into cities. I have to see if the Hamptons is in here. I don't think it is. So we would just go down. I guess we'll call it. Is there a city name or should we just call it the Hamptons?
I say we call it Hamptons because
Okay, Hamptons.
yeah, because there's a few little pop-up cities. This could be in Bridge, South, or West. We're going to start in West Hampton.
All right, so here we go. We've got Hamptons. Then I'll create a Telegram group called Hamptons Pizza DAO. Julie, I'm going to add you to it. You're in. Okay, we pasted it in here. And there we go. We're off to the races. Pretty easy. We'll mark you as a first
Getting white
year.
glove service here.
Wow, this is gift with purchase.
VIP.
We'll mark you as a beginner, but we know your venue is confirmed. I mean, you're not quite a beginner. Let's give you we'll give you the intermediate badge.
You know what they like to say in skiing snacks, Jews on blues.
Well
You know what
done,
they
Julie.
say? They say pizza, pizza.
Pizza.
Have you seen that video with the dad and the kid who like can't stop and he's screaming at him, "Do the pizza."
The French fries, pizza French fries.
We're coming up to the top of the hour here, so if we could kind of wrap up.
Oh
other
yeah,
things
here.
Julie needs to do.
Okay, let's see. Can I make it through the rest of this? I think I can. You found your venue, find partners. We'll send you stuff. Oh, this is very important. A large pizza feeds 3 to 4 people. A Neapolitan feeds about 1.5. Important pizza math. And we're done.
All right. Julie, did you get everything you need there?
Yes, now I know pizza math is like girl math. I can do the equation.
Do we have fractional ownership? Can you
I've
do
got
fractional ownership of a pizza
a quick question
on the
for you.
blockchain?
Snack real quick. I know you've been searching for some specific cities around the world to fill some gaps in, and so I wanted to invite you to share what those cities are, because maybe somebody here knows somebody that they can connect PizzaDAO to.
Oh, absolutely. So we're working to grow our presence in Africa and the Middle East. We're very focused on that, as well as Eastern Europe. We don't have as big a presence. We're doing actually really great in South America and Central America, but always want to plug more people into those parties because they're super fun and that team is like really experienced. But yeah, Western Africa. I mean, if anyone knows anyone in like Russia or China is so hard, because China, we find that uh, people they don't really want to talk about Bitcoin. They don't want to talk about cryptocurrency. They can talk sort of about NFTs. Global Pizza Party, totally fine. But it's, you hear stories about crypto organizers having trouble with the authorities. So it's a little bit touch and go for us, but we very much want to bring China in on the global pizza party just because it's fun and it's a global thing. India, amazing story. We're going from this many, that's like 12 to 50 cities this year. So the map is going to look a lot different.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think we need to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for going through that. I certainly learned a lot and a lot more in depth about even just community DAOs, different ways to approach it. It's always interesting to see what different organizations are doing in different areas and how they've adapted and built things based on what their needs were for their particular organization. So thank you for presenting today.
And for your sense of humor.
Yes. Very much appreciated.
Important to
Okay.
have fun,
Yeah. Okay, everybody, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Another call completed.
Awesome.
And we will see you on the next one.
Fabulous. Good luck with it.
Let's go. Thank you.